going on, guys? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's enjoying the little Pats beat down here. The Pats defense, Manny Sanders, and anybody but Gronk, I guess, is the nuts. All right, guys. What I wanted to talk a little bit about, I was talking to a guy um, that I know, and he asked me, he's a little frustrated because it's been a struggle for him this year at DFS, and he goes, "Is it still possible to profit in 2017 in DFS?" And I kind of thought about the question, and I said, it is tougher. It's a lot tougher now than it was 2 years ago, and 2 years ago was a lot tougher than it was 4 years ago. It reminds me a lot of the poker world, which I came from, as a lot of you know. And whereas everything started off great, and seemed like it was going to be this gradual little increase in skill level, and then all of a sudden, everything shoots up, and you're like, "What the hell just happened?" That happened specifically in like a lot of limit games, but in DFS, I think we're in a space like that now where if people aren't game selecting better, then it's going to be a little bit tougher to win. One of the things I would like to suggest for people, I want to see more people focusing on the smaller sites, because look, if you have people that are out there that are putting, literally 50 grand a night in for a random NBA night. That's genuinely happening. They're playing 5K, 10K cash games. Every $100, every 50, all the way down to $5 for a lot of them. So, what you'll find that on DraftKings and FanDuel. What I would suggest is taking a look at a lot of these other sites. Site like Yahoo, for instance. Yahoo, as Dean says. They're going to bring people in from their season-long site, where the cash games are going to be a little bit better over there. I had one pro tell me once, I'm playing on Yahoo today. He goes, "Oh, you found the honey hole, huh?" Yeah, so I would focus on a site like that. I would also look at a site like Fantasy Draft. Look, they've got lower rake, and the entry limits are big because you can't have guys like me put $150 in the Millionaire Maker in every tournament. We'll get to that a little bit later. Also, if you guys don't know yet about Play Draft, and if you don't, I assume you've been under a rock. Sorry about that. Anyways, PlayDraft, they're running a ton of advertising right now. I'm sure a lot of you guys just see it on the DFS sites or on like the draft show that I participate in or some stuff like that. They're running a ton of advertisement on SiriusXM right now. And one of the nice things about draft is that they're pulling in a ton of casual users. DFS guys are playing DraftKings, FanDuel, everywhere else. They're trying to hit that big tournament score. They're trying to hit that big win. A lot of them aren't sitting around and grinding. Just killed that mosquito. Nope, I didn't. He flew away. A lot of them aren't grinding sites like Fantasy or like Draft.com. So, what I want to show you, not show you, but I want to mention, like, they have drafts for as cheap as $1, and they are significantly softer than other places. Other places you can go. Somebody in the chat says here, I'm just going to read out the chat. I got my notes here. I got the chat up. We're good. He says that the smaller sites don't have big top prizes. No, they don't. And this is a situation where you really need to know why. No. It's definitely not a paid ad. You definitely want to know why you're playing DFS. Are you playing to win the Millionaire Maker? If you're playing to win the Millionaire Maker on DraftKings, that's what you need to focus on doing. But you got to know that it's like a massive long shot, like massive long shot. I was obviously lucky enough to do it, but like I am in the vast minority. Now, if what you guys want to do is to build up a bankroll, I wouldn't be playing tournaments like the Millionaire Maker. I sure as hell wouldn't be playing qualifiers where it could be just, you talk about a bankroll suck. I lost mid-5 figures just in baseball chasing the live qualifier, and that was just before July when I quit. I said, fuck this. So yeah, no, I would definitely stay away from the qualifiers, and I'd stay away from those top-heavy tournaments. If it's really hard to actually build a bankroll doing that. If you want to build a bankroll, go to the smaller sites, play the cash games there, play the tournaments. The limited entry tournaments, if you want to keep playing on DraftKings, keep playing on FanDuel, they have like the 3 max, the 6 max, the 20 max. I would play whatever you're comfortable max entering. If you're comfortable only doing one lineup, play the single entries. Maybe dabble in the 3 max a little bit, but mostly play the single entries. Don't mess around with like putting one lineup in a tournament with 150,000. Because guess what? It's going to be really, really hard for you to profit doing that. You can actually win the tournaments, the 3 max tournaments, like the $20 3 max. You're not going to win $1 million for it. You're going to win 10 grand or something, but You should be able to hear me, y'all. Okay, yeah, you can hear me. Try hit the unmute button. It should be working. Okay, R's here. Good job. But yeah, you want to be able to profit, and one of the ways you can do that is focusing on those limited entry contests. Otherwise, it can be like the variance is just massive, and unless you've got a really good bankroll or a really good way to get a bankroll, the variance is just going to eat you alive. I mean, alive if you're not playing those limited entry tournaments. What was the other? Yeah, somebody says I won 10K and a $12 single entry. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it can definitely be done. Like, I'm a multi-entry guy. I enjoy putting 150 lineups, and that's what I like to do. The single entry stuff, I don't like it as much. It's just, everybody has their thing that they're good at. I'm good at, everybody lost all the money today. That's why I'm doing this. So, assure you guys that, we'll all be okay. But yeah, you don't want to be at a disadvantage to somebody like me playing 150 lineups. Yeah, you want to stick with the tournaments that are lower variance. The qualifiers, like I said, the bankroll suck is just freaking insane on the qualifiers. And here's what people don't tell you. Even if you make a live final, they are also really top heavy. Like, you make the DraftKings live final, the first year I made it was $5 million for first and like 10K for the min cash. There was only 200 people. So like, and it's 1 million. The swings are just insane. Like fantasy draft right now, I really like what they're doing with their live final, where it's 200K for first, 175 for second, 150 for third. It's like a very, very not steep payout structure, which is really good. That's really great. We want to keep the money flowing in the poker economy. I understand that when $5 million in a tournament, when $2 million in a tournament, I understand that's sexy, but it's not realistic. It's really tough to do. Again, I want to emphasize, you really need to identify why you're playing. Why are you signing up for DFS? Is it to have fun? Is it to try and win $1 million? Is it to burn $20? If your goal is to build slowly, you need to be careful and you need to do this game selection. You can't just be taking on these higher variance tournaments, so you're going to get screwed. Let's see. Oh, another thing. Okay, don't worry about being contrarian. I'll tell you what, I think the one thing I'm asked most often is, well, how do I be contrarian? How do I make sure and I pick the guys that everybody else is not looking at? If you guys are doing your own research, you're going to naturally end up on plays that are contrarian. And by own research, I'm not saying getting on and reading an article, listening to a show and figuring out, well, he said to play him, so I'm going to play him. No. You want to do your own research. And look, I've got a few guys. I've got 2 or 3 guys that I genuinely really trust. And if they say something that I haven't agreed with, I'm not just going to blindly follow them, though. I'm going to look really deep and see if I still like that spot. So I would definitely not listen to people, take what they say into account, but find the guys you trust and don't do your own research, because that's how you end up on contrarian. You are going to naturally find contrarian plays if you're doing your own research rather than just listening to people. Let's see. What else did I have? Oh, Austin, you asked about oh man, I'm losing. Oh no, there it is. You asked about cash games. I'm iffy on them. Like, there are people who still beat cash games. Britt Devine is excellent at beating cash games. Dean, who I know I give shit to, but he's really good at beating cash games. And what do these guys do? They game select like hell. They're making sure they're paying the lowest rate. They're making sure they're chasing any overlay possible. They're making sure that they're looking for any edge they can get. And that's how you win in the gambling industry. If you're a pro poker player, you're not going to win by just, well, I'm going to play the biggest game against the best people and profit. That's how we're going to do it. And I'm just going to kick their ass. Yeah, that's not really how the rich guys in poker made it. The rich guys in poker were the people that you've never heard of, that sat by themselves, waited for idiots to join them, and beat the crap out of them. I got one friend who made about 20 million playing poker. And I promise you, none of you have ever heard of him. Never. You've never heard of him. But that's how he likes it. He doesn't chase the limelight. He doesn't chase the spotlight. He just wants to sit back, make his money, drink his coffee, and kick some ass. If you're going for the qualifiers, again, it's not a profitable thing. It can be fun. It's a lot of fun to make it. I would highly recommend, if you want a live final, go to the fantasy draft one. The play draft one is full now. I won the last seat. Go team. the DraftKings, I think instead of really focusing on the DraftKings, the big tournament they're doing, the big live final with a couple million up top, focus on the King of the Beach. That tournament it's great. You qualify for $20. Everything's 5 max. You get to go to a live final with 60 other people if you win. We're not talking like millions and millions of dollars you can win, but you win enough to buy yourself a nice house and a nice steak dinner. So that's pretty solid. I'm going to answer a few questions. I'm scrolling all the way up. So if you guys have typed, give me a few seconds to get to it. I miss the good old days of DFS. Joining in 2013 when there was Draft Street. Life was so much simpler back then. Yeah, for sure. I struggle with managing my risk as far as picking players as a certain percentage across lineups I play. If you're putting 150 in, you guys know by now I advocate a very tight core. If you try and get everybody in, there's not a shot you're going to win, because if you try and do 10% of everybody, good luck having the right combo if you only have 10% of the guys you really need. That would be just, yeah. Is this a paid ad? No. I just think that the draft app is a really good place to make money right now. I think it's a better place to really make money than a bigger site like DK or FanDuel. Chipotle and the $1 GPP on Fantasy Draft, pros don't play there. Yeah, that's true, but I think they're limited to 10 entries. And here's a little secret, guys. A lot of pros, they forget about the small sites, especially where they don't have as much in play. What would you focus on? DraftKings, where you have 100 grand in play, or Fantasy Draft, where you have 8 grand in play? I know what I'd focus on, because I'm guilty enough of forgetting those lineups sometimes. Let's see, what else do we got? Yeah, the single entry, fourth in the millie would have won the Wildcat. Yeah, I mean, sure, that might happen sometimes. If you want to throw it in the millie, I got no problem with that. I would do it too, but just know that it's not the responsible way to try and build up a bankroll. Let's see. I treat it as a lottery, but I love the quantitative aspects, and I love sports. Yeah, if you're treating it as a lottery, then fire in the million maker. If you're, I have one coaching client that I worked with, and he said, I don't give a crap whether I win or lose. I am doing this to try and win the lottery, to try and win the million maker. Because when I start working with them, I work in them kind of like a lower variance approach. And he was like, yeah, okay, I don't want lower variance. I want higher variance, because I want to give myself a chance to win that milli when I'm right. And I get it. We'll all be okay. You'll be okay. I had way too much Fournette and Powell. Boy, I didn't have Fournette, but I sure as hell had Powell. Give some basic strategy for a lineup builder, please. I tried it for the first time. It was a little lost. Yeah, eliminate everybody at first. That's what I did. First thing I do, get my finger out, get rid of all of them, and then from there you only add the guys that you really like. That's a really good kind of trick I use on myself to try and make sure I'm not playing everybody. Let's see, Crane, are you in primetime stuff? Yeah, I'm the 150 lineups, 150 Cam Newton lineups. I got plenty of Manny Sanders though, and I got plenty of Rex Burkhead. I also locked in Gronk though, so welp. I do put a percentage next to 100% of people, by the way. When I build my lineups, I don't, because otherwise it's just going to fill in all those empty spots with the guys that I've left open, and I want to have an opinion on everybody. We got, let's see, Antonio Brown, Devil Face. Boy, do I hear you there. Morrison Jordan. God, it's just a disaster. Yeah, Siege is one of those guys. He takes a lot of crap, but he definitely, anybody who isn't just blindly following the herd, I have a lot of respect for, and Siege is one of those guys. Do your own research to learn from your respect. Yep. He says 20 million. I'm quitting DFS. Yeah, that was available in poker 7 or 8 years ago. It's not available anymore. Sorry. Do I make my own projection and put them in the mock for your multi-entries? No, I don't. I don't. The only sport I even bother with projections for is basketball, and I rely on a combination of projections that I trust for that. So. Yeah, but yeah, congrats on the auto draft win. I forgot there was an $1,800 qualifier on Play Draft today. I completely forgot about it. And God, Brock is bad. Yeah, I mean, it was a completion with the ball was like a pop-up. Yeah, I completely forgot about it, and it auto drafted me the winner, which is good because is Demaryius Thomas hurt? Yeah, which is good because all the players that I liked Oh, it was knocked out of his hand. That's why all the players that I like sucked. So I ended up with 5 guys on the draft in my auto draft. 4 of them I had exactly 0 shares of. No, I'm sorry. 3 of them I had 0 shares of in DFS. I had 0 shares of Mark Ingram. Whoops. I had 0 shares of Matt Ryan. Okay, whatever. And then I had 0 shares of Diggs, who crushed it. My other 2 guys were LaShawn McCoy and Nuke Hopkins, who McCoy started off well, didn't end that way, and Hopkins did just fine. It was not Mark Gregorich, by the way. I'm telling you, you don't know this person. How many live finals has I been to? I've been to, I think this will be my 10th seat. I think I've been to maybe 5 or I think 6. Hold on. San Diego, Playboy Mansion. Hold on. I'm forgetting New York City, Nashville this weekend. It's only 5. I'm forgetting 1. All right, anyways. No, I think that might have been it. Maybe just 5. Chicago, 6. There it is. I forgot about the Chicago FanDuel one for baseball. Do I think going 100% own on a certain player is too much 150 lineups? It depends what your goal is, man. If your goal is to try and increase variance and try and make sure you hit the nuts if that player goes off, yeah, I don't do that too often. I don't click the lock button. I think the most I've ever gone on somebody that wasn't like a correlated play, like wide receiver. Like let's say I played Drew Brees and I won Michael Thomas, like I would lock in 150 of those. But any play, I think 70% is the most I've ever gone on a guy like that. It was Devontae Booker the week he was like 3K last year and started, and Bilal Powell this week. One worked out, one didn't. How tilted were you with the NBA cancellation? I didn't care about the NBA cancellation for me. Like, I didn't play NBA. It was just I just thought it was crap how they handled it, and they tried to make it right. Though I'm a little bit. Look, 40% deposit bonuses. You can make $1,000 for free. Just don't come around. I wish they wouldn't have made you put money back on the site in order to get it, but I get why they did it, and I hope that the free rolls are big enough where it matters. I won't be in any of them. I didn't have any NBA action. I just didn't like the way it was handled. Do you not play any single entry games, Eric? Great. I do play some, but honestly, I usually just throw one of my 150 lineups in there, and I barely look at it. So if I win a single entry, it's just because that happened to be the right one that went in. Let's see. Does the DK rake in these contests help you decide which contest to play? We're getting there. I mean, I still play the Millionaire Maker every week because I mentioned having goals when you play DFS. My goal is to win another $1 million. So, yeah, I did. I would play it regardless, but we're getting to the point now where it's top heavy enough that it's tough to beat anyways, and at this point, it's really difficult. So, say your bankroll is $10K and you want to get $50K. What percent are cash or GPPs? I think it depends where you're playing. Like, it depends, what is your mindset? Me, I'm not great at cash games. I'm a tournament guy. I have a tournament mindset. So cash games for me are kind of like, okay, whatever. I will probably get my cash exposure on the Play Draft app or on Yahoo or Fantasy Draft or a place like that where I'm going to get more bang for my buck. If you want to do tournaments, man, like Austin, I know you're going to focus on a lot of the 3-mech stuff. Put your 3 tournament teams together. Do everything you're comfortable with, like probably $33 and under. And then just kind of mash those cash games. I think that's a really good way to go about doing that. I missed the party poker days. That was my personal ATM. That's how, God, what was my ATM? Let's see. One was Seals with Clubs. That was a lot of fun. That was back when Bitcoin was like really cheap and we were playing 1 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoin limit poker. But it was, like 40-80 at the time. Now it would be, 7,000, 14,000. So, oh boy, do I wish I'd hold on to those coins. Shady over Ingram. Yep, I hear you there. Yeah. Congrats on the profit harvest, but 50K swings are brutal. That's the problem with tournaments too, man. Like the emotional toll they take on you, because I've been lucky enough in DFS to where I've ran kind of hot at the end of tournaments. I don't get a lot of like 3rd or 4th or 5th. I'm getting 1st or I'm not cashing at all. So it's man, getting like 3rd and stuff. I felt bad, man. That time that like the guy got passed up for the millie the other week, and it's just like, ugh. It's brutal. Do I just use Roto-Grinders for research? Do you go to other sites? Don't really know off the info. I've got other sites that I use. I think Roto-Grinders does a great job of making sure everything's in the same spot. And it's honestly like the first place I go for research. I've got other places that I use, like NBA.com for stats, Pro Football Focus, I think is great for NFL. Football Outsiders, places like that, like places that everybody else looks in. I don't know. I hope I'm not like betraying King and Country for saying no. I look at other places other than Roto-Grinders, but I think Roto-Grinders does such a good job of working toward getting all that stuff together and then giving a nice package, display of what's happening in the DFS world. High dollar single entry, $100 low dollar lineup, more optimal. Play around 1K a night. Definitely 150 low dollar lineups are more optimal. It's going to be lesser variance. Usually the prize pool is going to be bigger and you're not playing against 60 other sharks. I like to say for me that I'm the, Broncos are about to score. Let's see who screws me here. I like to say I'm the king of the fish and the fish for the kings. And that's the truth. Like I'm constantly telling myself, don't jump in this 1500. Don't do it. Because those guys are all so like the high stakes guys on DraftKings or fantasy draft. Like you guys can think what you want. Oh, how did that person play him? Or how did that think that was a good play? Whatever. Those guys are so freaking sharp that I would definitely put 150 low dollar lineups before I would do one of the big dollar lineups. It's just a matter of having the time to go through them and actually make them work. What do you think? Wait, is that guy still running? I thought he was down. Wow, CJ Anderson. Freaking bowling ball, man. Like he does nothing for 2 months and then he gets on. I joke on my shows about national TV guys. CJ Anderson is 100% like a primetime football guy. Like he gets up only for these games. How can I get you to follow me on Twitter? I really try and limit the number of people I follow on Twitter. I felt like 600 now, and I think it's way too many. I would get to, let's see, when are we playing golf? And Good Sam, my man, are you coming? Good Sam, are you coming to Nashville? It's probably a little cold to golf right now, but I sure as hell hope we can go golfing soon. That was like one of my favorite golfing outings I've ever had. All right, my DK bankroll is currently at 4 things. How get it to 100,000 by January 1st. That's where you go to a live final that DraftKings is hosting and slip and break something. And then that's how I would suggest doing that. That's the only way I would do that. Have I ever been to Boston? I haven't. I stayed out of the Northeast for the most part. I like happy people. For a guy that plays strictly tournaments, what's the best advice you can give to me when you're on a cold streak? I find to do fine in NHL, but NFL's kicked my ass this year. Man, I agree on NFL. It's been rough this year. I would definitely focus on, tournaments that are lower variance, the 3 max, the single entries, that sort of thing. The 3 max I really think are just excellent tournaments to play. I would focus on that. It's just going to take 1 or 2 days, like out of a cold streak, to really be sitting better. So basically building the lineups, you just leave the players you're okay with and only adjusts percentage accordingly, I guess. Yep, that's exactly right. What specifically is a cash game? A cash game is a 50-50. Wow, what a cash. Who was that? Demaryius Thomas? Wow, all those. I'll tell you what, guys, it's going to be we always joke about like unique lineups winning on NFL slates. The lineups that use the pay. Oh, is it a flag again? I was going to say the lineups that use the Patriots defense plus Thomas and Manny Sanders together are going to be doing really well. Yeah, cash games, 50-50s that you play, double ups, head-to-head contests, that sort of thing. That's what a cash game is. It's really a term from poker, but that's what it is. I should have listened to Mike when he was telling everyone who would listen to buy Bitcoin 5 years ago. Amit, I'm going to tell you something. I probably know Mike better than most people do. I know his wife. We've all had dinner together. We've hung out together. We've got a ton of mutual friends. Mike was trying to sell me Bitcoin 6 years ago, and they were $10 a piece. And hey, you know what? You throw enough darts at the dartboard, eventually you're going to hit a bullseye, and he's certainly hit one now. So you're saying you're the Helmuth of DFS, but saying you're the king of the fish and fish. Guys, I love Phil, and that's hilarious. Yeah, pretty much. How did I start working at Roto-Grinders? I bugged DB mercilessly. Like I really went after DB on Twitter. I was like, I'm available. Made some live finals, won some tournaments. Made a point to introduce myself at the live finals, and eventually they said, "Hey, we want to give you a shot at NBA." That went well. I was always available. I made sure I was always available. At the time, my internet wasn't strong enough, just because I was living out super out in the boonies. So I would have to take my laptop to my mother-in-law's house and set up there to do shows, and I was doing that 3, 4, 5 times a week. But yeah, no, you got to get to know people in the industry. You have to have some success, and you have to have some luck. And it's just kind of worked out for me, which is I love doing the roto grinder stuff. Like they're genuinely really good people. FanDuel and NBA much more difficult to hit when you're having to play 2 players from each position. I actually prefer the format on FanDuel. It's like kind of checkers to chess, whereas chess, DraftKings, it's a lot more exotic where you're looking at multi-position eligibility, flex positions, utility positions. That's kind of the chess version. With checkers, FanDuel, you're just looking to win positions. You got to have the best point per dollar at every position. And when you kind of break it down like that, like I'll put my player pool in, I'll sort, and then I just go position by position. I'm trying to find the best point per dollar at that particular position. And then, when that's all said and done, I'm looking for whoever the highest scoring guys are going to be that I think, and I'm loading up on them, especially when I'm focusing on point per dollar at each individual position rather than, overall point per dollar. DraftKings more overall point per dollar, and it can be a little bit murky. I'm just better on FanDuel. Like it works better for me. Yep, it was the same. Look at Brock Osweiler just looking cool as hell. Sitting there. I don't think I could do it. Like my hair doesn't go back that far, and it definitely doesn't slick back like that. How much of that mill did you take out not to bet with? I think I left like 100, 150 on afterwards, and I just wired out the rest. Did I graduate college? No, but I went to college. Does that count? And I dropped out of college. Let's see. I started at the local community college when I was 16. Graduated there when I was 19 because I kind of was lazy. After I went to, here's what I did. I started at the local community college when I was 16. Started at a 4-year college in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma, a university in Science and Arts of Oklahoma when I was 18. Came back to the community college when I was 19 and graduated. Killed this mosquito. Got him. Then let's see, where did I go? SAU Edwardsville. I went there and dropped out of there 3 or 4 times, and I also went to SAU Carbondale for a semester. So no, I didn't graduate, but I got the experience. How do I do in NFL today? Well, I'm drinking water instead of wine, so that should answer your question. Holy cow! How do I have 44 notifications? You guys are blowing shit up, man. Do you give yourself a limit to play? No, I don't. I usually get anywhere from 10 to 20K a week in NFL. It's been right around 15 for the most part. What the hell do I have freaking? No, somebody asked if we mentioned that draft.com. I'm in Missouri. No, I'm not. I'm in Southern Illinois. I'm about 2 hours from St. Louis. I know I got the St. Louis background. I'm a big St. Louis fan, but no, I'm in Carbondale, Illinois. And no, I cannot play on draft, unfortunately. Or no, I can play on draft. I feel bad for the Missouri people who can't, and hopefully that's going to get better. Mango says, going to check this out later. Listen for a minute. It was pretty good info here for any of the serious about profiting. Yeah, buddy. RotoDoc. If you want to learn the best, go for it. If not, you're lost. Thanks, RotoDoc. You're the man. I love RotoDoc. He's so nice. Okay. Well, guys, just adding to your notifications, and you should follow me. Arms, I'll tell you what, man. That's funny enough. I'll tell you what. Here you go. Let's see. I got the follow, buddy. Okay. Okay, what percentage of bankroll should you have in play in a daily sport? 10% like Dean? Yeah, you definitely put Dean's 10% in there. I like it. That's funny. I think that sorry, opening up the Skype chat. What percentage? This varies back and forth. People say 10%. That's one bad week and you're just fucked. So I wouldn't do that. I would go more at 5%, and I think that's probably a little aggressive. 10%, it's like everybody used to say, well, it's 80% cash, 20% tournaments. That was great 3 years ago, but now we're in an age where the games are tougher. The average user isn't playing cash games as much. They're playing more tournaments. So to me, you've got to adjust what you think. So I would go 10% maybe, or 5%, maybe even as low as 3%. It's just the variance is higher now, especially also, I know you play a lot of those higher variance tournaments. That 10% is just going to kill you if you go on thoughts on draft cheat. Hi, Peter. I love you, Karen. I got you, buddy. Thanks for all you do today. It was tough for me. It was tough for a lot of people. Anybody who had even a remotely popular play, you just got screwed. Even Gronk on the night slate. I should have known after today that clicking the lock button on Gronk wasn't the way to go. I have a lot of Lewis. I have a lot of Manny Sanders, but I have 100% Gronk. So can't imagine that's going to go well. Oh well. What are you going to do? What are you gonna do? That's the way it goes. McCoy and Melvin destroyed me today. Melvin didn't destroy me, but McCoy sure as hell did. It's funny because in my season long here, let me pull up my season long really quick. I know this is when these things tend to go off the rail when people start talking about their season long teams because chicks always dig that. Let me pull this up real quick. I had a bunch of guys in season long this week who I didn't like in DFS, and my season long team is crushing. So that should tell you something. I had Eli Manning, Jerick McKinnon, and Melvin Gordon didn't do much, but I had Diggs. I have Jimmy Graham, DeMarco Murray, who just came out of nowhere just to smash today. Pats defense tonight. I have Cooks and Parker going right now. A bunch of people I don't like. I have 100% Gronk too. Just hard to use Dixon or Derby. Yeah, no, it was like Ed Dixon was the only other reasonable play. And, of course, Dwayne Allen. Was that Cooks? Oh, man. I don't have much view in DFS, but whatever. Yeah, if somebody used Dwayne Allen, you just win. I don't lock in a whole lot of guys. I thought Cam was very clearly the best play especially as far as point per dollar goes on the late slate, just because the rushing upside is so massive, especially against a team like Miami who has, people with walkers trying to cover him. I thought Gronk, if you're not locking Gronk in on this 2-game slate, you're never locking anybody. I had a few Woods, Tate, AJ teams, and still didn't sniff cash line. What were the cash lines? Were they like 6? What the hell were they? I just assumed all the cash lines were freaking tiny this week. It was it was crazy. I don't know how anybody did anything this week. I'm just pulling it up right now. Let's see. What was the cash line in the Millie Maker? By the way, for everybody who says that if you play the night slate, you can't win the whole thing. One guy is in first place, dead by himself right now. He's got Brady, Lewis, Cooks, Manny, Thomas, Gronk, Burkhead, and the Pats defense. So yeah, you can absolutely scoop one of these things. My first big win in DFS came when I got second by myself in the Thanksgiving only tournament for about $100,000. I think I have never won more than $25,000 in a single tournament. I won $250,000 that day in cash and live seats. So I'm those 2 or 3 game slates, I actually think there's some of those profitable in DFS. And I don't know, I guess I'm alone there, but I don't know. I think they're pretty good. I think everybody kind of sucks at them. So I got to be good at something, right? What was the cash line in the Millie Maker today? It had to have been so small. I'm going to click history and just everything just going to pop up like crazy. Yeah. The Thanksgiving tournaments are easily the best. I will, every year, that is the one day I'm going to make sure that, well, 1, I'm thankful for my family, and 2, I play fantasy football. Oh, man. All right. Sorry. I'm just getting through all there it is. The Millionaire Maker. What was the cash line in the Millie Maker? Click results. It's loading for me real quick. I put 150 in the Millie every single Sunday. I think one Sunday, it sucks. There's a list out there of people who have put 150 in the Millie every single Sunday. One week I screwed up and it was 149. I don't know how it happened. I don't know what happened, but it was 149 entries instead of 150. And then I was like, oh no, please don't let the one entry, something made its way into some tournament and I had 150 there, but not, let's see. The last cash line, there's 400th place, there's 5, oh, it's up here. All right, so it was 38,000 people cash. There it is, 128.86 was the cash line. I cannot believe it was that high. Cash lines have been big this year. It's moved up since last year. I've noticed this in basketball too. DK is down about 8 points right now from the end of the year, but that's skewed because it goes up so much at the end of the year, so it's actually ahead of the pace. FanDuel, they changed their scoring system, but it's still about, I think, 6 or 7 points higher than last year. I was looking at my Roto Tracker earlier. Won the early 330 NBA slate on FanDuel for $4, 191, split 500 times. Yeah, that can happen. I'll tell you, one of the ways I do that, I leave $200 on the table and 100% of lineups that I do on short slates. Just because, at least for NBA, NFL I don't do it quite as much, just because you can find the unique lineups regardless. But NBA I always do that because if I win a tournament, I want to win freaking $100,000. I don't want to split. I don't want to me and 400 of my friends go out for a beer because that's all the money we want. I want to win all the money. what was top 5 cash in the Lily? I'm going to guess you mean the Millie, and that was 212.5. Boy, there's a lot of jumbling. Like at the very top, it was 8 people were within 5 points of each other. Off of Sugarland 59, who won with Jared Goff. Wow, it was when last Sunday was done. I was so sure I was going to play Goff this week, and it turns out I didn't. Not that it mattered because I would not have played DeMarco Murray. I would not have played Eric Ebron, or I guess I would have played Woods. I doubt I would have played Juju. This is like a relatively chalky lineup for a weekend where the chalk kind of shit the bed. You had Goff, Gurley, Murray. DeMarco Murray, I'm not going to say it was a great process play, but he was sure the hell was a great results play. Juju had another good game. Like, the guy just crushes every week. Golden Tate, Robert Woods, Eric Ebron, Sterling Shepard was super popular in the Rams. Well done. Yeah, well done. I was so sure when I looked earlier that Chipotle Attic was going to win. He just loaded up on he just stacked the Washington-Minnesota game 150 times. Betts was 71st. Wow. And that one, and it looks like he just missed defense. It's tough to win if you miss defense. Juju could end up being better than AP. Okay, when you say stuff like that, like, I'm just going to not follow you anymore on Twitter. Like, we can't just throw shit like that out there. Come on, Harbs. Come on. You got to be better than that. You can't just say, no, he can't. He cannot be better than Antonio Brown. Come on. Go home, Harbs. You're drunk. Oh, man. Anybody have any other questions? I'll stick around for a few more minutes. I know the game is back on. They're showing the nightlife of wherever the hell they're at. Where's is that Boston? It's Denver. I love Denver. I haven't been there in a long time. I'm kind of drunk. Very clearly, you're kind of drunk. Oh, my goodness. Just a beatdown. Remember when everybody was afraid of the Pats? Like, what's wrong with the Patriots? Oh, they can't stop anybody. It doesn't matter when you put up 50 points a game. Where do I begin to look at the next slate? Usually I start my research process on Wednesday afternoon. Whenever I talk to Reeves and Silva to figure out what games we're going to talk about, and then I start, just reading up on those games. I read anything I can on Roto-Grinders. I read, pull up some stats on Pro Football Focus. I check out the targets from the last game, the snaps, and I definitely look at injury reports a lot more than other people do. I think people get really lazy with injury reports. I think it's important. Hoop doesn't do the morning work. He's busy, man. I talked about people that have just, almost 6 figures in play. He's one of them. He's got a ton in play. It's just like he's super busy, and I know he's playing on 5-6 different sites. Like, you got to manage your time. What percentage of my lineups are contrarian? I don't go out of my way to make contrarian lineups. This is one. Do you remember there used to be an old poker saying when people started playing poker a lot, and they was on TV, and they were like, to be willing to live in poker, you have to be willing to die, which basically they were saying you have to be willing to bluff all your chips off. And it's just not true. People saying, well, you have to be contrarian to win. That's not true. It's not true. You have to do your own research. You can't end up like 100% of everybody else's plays. If you do your own research, you're going to end up on contrarian plays naturally. So I genuinely don't worry about being contrarian in football. I don't. Like, people think I'm nuts, and I just don't worry about it. All the Chiefs next week, Andy Reid off a bye, and they play the Giants. Oh, look, a tight end against the Giants. Golly. Garrett Selleck, his best game ever was 4 or 5 catches for 79 yards. In college, he had a grand total of 14 catches his entire college career. He's 29 years old. The Giants are so bad at defending the tight end. They made somebody who has the athletic ability of me just look like freaking, Sterling Sharp out there. It's just unbelievable. What was bigger regret of mine, going to Powell and taking off Anderson? No, Powell was the best process play. Like, it didn't work out. I did play Thielen because Siege talked about him in the slot matchup. Yeah, no, Thielen was on my list. He just didn't make any of my teams. Like, if you look at my my player pool, it was, I had, I think, like 11 or 12 receivers in there, and 3 of them got 0% just because I didn't like them as much as the other guys. And 2 of them were Thielen and Thomas. Whoops. Is Travis Kelce going to keep the tight end touchdown seeking? Can you imagine the hell if he doesn't? By now, everybody knows that the Giants, 7, 8 straight weeks where they've given up a touchdown to the tight end. Can you imagine the tilt from everybody on Twitter next week when Travis Kelce has 1 catch for 16 yards and 0 touchdowns? It's like I was saying to Siege on the show this morning. I said the tilt on Twitter when this Bucks Jets game ends 9-6 is going to be hilarious, and it almost did. It was a good time. Probably not for everybody who played it. Let's see. AB and Bell killed me. You and everybody else. They were, I think, a combined. Oh God, like 60%. Why? Yeah, Amir Vahidi. In order to live, you must be willing to die. Oh, I thought Brady threw a pick for a second. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was Broncos on offense. I'm locked into here. Yeah, like that's great for a sound clip. That's terrible for poker. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, for sure. I don't get why I hate Powell so much. The Jets just. I mean, I did play some Elijah. They really want Elijah McGuire. You know, like in what's the movie where they're like, stop trying to make fetch happen, Gretchen. Fetch is never going to happen. Mean Girls. Yeah, that's what like the Jets are like with Elijah McGuire. He's not going to happen, but they keep wanting him to happen. Let's see. When you have a bad week, does it make you question your process? Yeah, a little bit. Sure, it does. I think that's naturally when people are. I know I'm not supposed to say that. I know I'm supposed to say, well, no. I trust. No, of course. If I get like killed for a week, I'm going to go back and reevaluate what happened. And almost every time I come back and I say, all right, this is what I screwed up, and this is what I need to do better. Or I come back and I say, you know what? I trust the process. It's worked out for me in the past, and I got to keep reminding myself that, because as soon as you start deviating from that process, that's when you kind of start getting a little bit scattered, and that's when everything ends up really getting ugly for you. Like you're going to spiral quick if you start questioning yourself. So get to the find a process that works for you, and then stick with it. It says I had 20 entries in the 20 max. Thursday, Powell was the only 20%, and I have switched him all the teams. It could have been such a smatch or such a smash. Yeah, well, look, I had Powell 70%. I get it. I mean, it was all I would say anytime I was sitting around doing an XM show or Roto Grinder show this week was I'm just going to play Powell if Forte is out. I said on Friday when the Forte news came out, I was on XM, and I said, I wish this news came out Saturday at 11:59 because I am preparing like Forte is not going to play, and I'm going to be loading up on Powell. Didn't work. Anybody on Twitter you would follow to get much better? Evan Silva for sure, Rich Rebar, and that's not just because I do shows with them on Wednesdays. Like they're both just legitimate, really good. I think Tip and Pick John Lee is one of the absolute best minds in all of DFS, and I would not have won $1 million had I not reached out to him about a research process question a few weeks earlier. Let's see who else. I think Scott Barrett's really good. I really like what Scott Barrett does. He's at Pro Football Focus. Those are some names that like really. Oh, JM Twin. He doesn't really post much on Twitter, but his article I think is invaluable. I'm just going to get that fuzz out. Let's see. Does Ted Ginn play the slot? No, he doesn't. Hope so, because Washington Superdome next week. I'm so fucking sick of Ted Ginn. It's unbelievable. I was more excited in there. Yeah, Warren Sharp also. I think Warren Sharp's great. Levitan also. I like both those guys. Sharp, I think, is just like Sharp Football Stats. That site, I cannot believe it's free. Sharp Football Stats has some just really great stuff. Let's see. Ted Ginn. Anybody who subscribed to my package, you know, all like 5 or 6 of them. They know. Like I know Austin's in here. He said, you know how much I love Ted Ginn this morning, and this is like a process thing where it made sense. The Bills, when EJ Gaines has been out, they've been using Tre'Davious White as a shadow cornerback. He's been really good. So, logic would say that they're probably going to do the same this week, which means that he's going to be shadowing Michael Thomas, which means that the backup cornerback is Sharice Wright, or somebody who they think is worse than Sharice Wright was going to be on Ted Ginn all day and should be torched. Now, it didn't work out like that. Ted Ginn had nothing for nothing and can middle finger off, but Michael Thomas went off. So it didn't work out, but I am completely confident. What the hell happened in this game?
What happened to him on the pump, and he was down and looked like he was out.
Sorry, I'm like turning the sound on right now. Did somebody get hurt? Oh, did a ref get hurt? Oh. Yeah. That's ugly. Yuck. Anyways, yeah, like the process there, I'm completely confident that it was the correct process. It just didn't work out. Crane, you're the best man. You're always up being positive. The way to look at life. Boy, you should see me after a loss. I had a big NBA loss last week. Then I had to do the Fantasy Insider show, and I was telling a buddy, I said, "Man, I don't know if I want to do the show. This is usually when I sulk, but this is also, yeah, this is also. Who are the overrated analysts? Yeah, there's not a shot I'm answering that question. There's a 0% chance that I'm answering that question, Seth Hader. Nice try though. What's one part of research process? I mean, you know, I think I focus more on offensive and defensive lines a lot more than people do. And I really focus on injuries and what those injuries would mean to people, you know, you know, how you want to look at not just the injury. Well, this guy's out, so that guy's a good player. You want to look at how it affects the dominoes, like EJ Gaines is out. So what's that secondary going to do? Well, now if that secondary is going to do this, who can benefit? Had you used that process today, you would have lost money on Ted Ginn like I did. So yeah. How much money did I start my DFS career with? I mean, I was a pro poker player from the time I was 20 until I was, 31. So, I mean, it varied a lot. I definitely hit some big scores. Like, it was about a year before I hit a really big win in DFS. It was Aaron Rodgers to James Jones day. And that was also the day that I had a lot of – this was before NFL late swap on FanDuel. I had a lot of Marshawn Lynch, and Marshawn Lynch was ruled out after the 1 p.m. games had started. So I tilted on the 4 p.m. slate, and I played a ton of this unknown running back named Thomas Rawls, who I assumed was going to be chalky because he had a really good matchup against the Arizona Cardinals, I think, at the time. And he was still only like 9 or 10%, which is, again, why I like to say those short sites are really profitable. And I ended up getting like, I think I put 14 or 15 lineups in that, and I got 7 of the top 9 spots, including first, second, and third. So it was a good time. Yeah, Michael Thomas did troll hard today, and I've got a middle finger for him. Ref got knocked down, yeah. Nice way to promote coaching, learning from the best guys, taking notes. Oh, yeah, I'm not doing any private coaching right now. I just don't have time. And it's like I'm kind of like a little uncomfortable with coaching while I'm still offering the RG package. The RG package is cheaper, I guess, and it's a lot of the same information. But yeah, it's yeah, I'm not doing any private coaching right now. But the RG package, check it out. It's pinned on my Twitter. If you want to look, great. If not, that's fine too. We got a small band of guys that I write for every week. This week was my shortest weekly breakdown, and it was 3,000 words. Austin, as you know, it has been 10,000 words before. So I really, I try and break down my process and why I like a guy rather than just say, pick this guy, boom, go. Yeah, could I beat Big T in a boxing match? I don't think you guys realize how tall Big T is. Like, I don't even think I could reach his face in a boxing match. Yeah, how did I end up at MMA last night? I won like 1,700, so I had 2,500 in play and I profited 1,700. Oh yeah, it was 100% with the hoodie. Yeah, no, it wasn't week 1. It was definitely not week 1 because I remember just being beat up, and I think it was a cold weather. Yeah, it was. Rawls got like 50 points in the game. He just absolutely smashed it, and he had no ownership. It was great. Why did the Giants let Ben McAdoo on the plane tonight? That's a really good question. Freaking doo-doo. That guy, like, when you lose to the 49ers, I mean, I was so sure that McAdoo was going to say, hey, Eli, Eli, take the wheel. I thought that's what he was going to do today, and instead he just decided to take a dump on the SF in the middle of the field. So way to go. What's my most profitable sport? Football by quite a bit. I want to get a lot better at golf. I think golf is the next thing, and we might have already seen it, where a lot of people aren't real sharp. A lot of people don't pay attention to the game theory aspect. A lot of people are really just paying attention to picks rather than doing their own research. I think golf is – if I could pick any sport to be my best sport right now, it would be golf. I know that's a weird answer. I think baseball, especially baseball in like August, it gets so hard. Let's see. I'm starting to write now. What's the best way to get seen? How do you get your name out there without being a shark? Well, you want to be good if you're going to write. But, there are people who work for RG that aren't professional DFS players. We've got a blogging program over there. You would have to Google it. I'm not really sure where it is, but there is a blogging program for RG. There is a blogging program for RG where they give like best blog. I would start there. The RotoGrinders community is really nice about that stuff. And, you can post a blog, post about it in the forums. You want to be known without being obnoxious. You want to be You want to be knowledgeable without being cocky. You want to not be a moron. Yeah, that's what I would do, Benjamin Jones. That's a really good question, because it's like it's an industry where it's easy to get started and it's really hard to kind of move up, because a lot of the people that are moving up, they ain't leaving. Why does John Fox still have a job? I don't know. Why does the Browns coach, Hugh Jackson, why does he still have a job? What in the hell was that quarterback sneak at the end of the first half? Like, you have there's 10 seconds on the clock. You have no timeouts. It's third down, and you're gonna quarterback sneak. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's just Hugh Jackson. Like, there are very few plays where I feel like a coach should be fired on the spot. That was one of those plays where I feel like as soon as he called the quarterback, they should have had somebody else come out at halftime. It could have been freaking Kaiser coaching the team. I don't care. Should not have been Hugh Jackson, though. Do I listen to Pat Mayo for golf? Yeah, I like Pat. I don't consume a ton of golf content. I do most of my own stuff. But yeah, I like Pat. Let's see. Best 08 player I've ever played against? Oh man. Ooh, that's a good question. You must know you must have been from my poker days, because you know that I was like really being like, I was a 08. I was probably one of the top 50 08 players in the world for a really long time. I don't know if I still am. Let's see. Mike Mattisau is when he plays well. There are a lot of times he doesn't play well, but when Mike Mattisau is focused, he's one of the absolute best 08 players on the planet. Let's see. I used like back in when I was 21, I used to just beat the shit out of Gus and Ivy every day. That was fun. Andrew Barber, I think, is really good. John DiAgostino is very good. Tom Corral, he's excellent. Like, I'm just naming off some of my friends, so I don't know if that's fair, but I feel like my group of friends is really freaking sharp. Like that, those guys really come to mind. How did we get on the Bucks game today? Dude, I don't know. Like, I'm telling you, you guys saw on Twitter, I posted like a little bit ago where I said like, hey, Gronk with the catch. Where I said like, how did we all end up on the chalk game where it was Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh McCown as the quarterbacks? I feel like that's a perfectly reasonable question for all of us to ask in hindsight. And again, you want to make sure your process and question why you came to that decision. And now at 2:00, I said, boy, this is suddenly really, I can see why. I'm not sure why this all happened. Crane Breakaway, make your own brand. I mean, I feel like I am my own brand. Like I work for Roto Grinders, but I mean, like the net they allow me to go off and do my own thing is great. Like it's, I'm doing a few things on my own right now that aren't public, but I'm working on. I'm doing, the Roto Academy course. I'm doing the package that I'm selling, which I really like. I'm doing the XM show. The XM show I love. Like since I was a kid, my career goal since, let's face it, is the short 5'6" fat kid. Like I was never going to play in the NBA. So my goal was to, host my own sports radio show. And I'm getting to do that now. Like how cool is that? I don't even want to break away. I love what I do. I love the people and like the people I work with are really great people. Best follows on Twitter for DFS golf. Oh, that's a good question. The Tour Junkies. I really like what the Tour Junkies do. They used to offer their own package on Roto Grinders. Apparently it's going to be premium instead of like their private package anymore, which I don't like as much because I liked having a little access, it's like I tell people with me, they're like, oh, why do you charge so much for your package? I said, I charge because I don't want 1,000 people to get that info. What's the point? Like, I feel like I don't provide a value to the people who purchase my package if 1,000 people are getting it. So what do? I make it more expensive. I say, if you guys want to pay, go for it. And that way it makes sure that not as many people are doing it. I can make a hell of a lot more. I don't make much from this package at all, guys. I think there's a hell of a misconception out there about this. Like I would make a hell of a lot more if I made it $10 a week. But where would the value to the people be there if 1,000 people were getting that info? There wouldn't be any. So yeah. Golf. Yeah, I really do. Which part was mind blowing, Harbs? I'm like way behind now in the chat. Why did the sites remove college football DFS? The sites didn't, the lawyers did. Once the DFS sites wanted to go legit, get legalized in the, state by state, that was one of the things they do. They don't want people gambling on amateur athletics, which I get. I liked college football. I loved college basketball. Like, yeah, but I loved college basketball. But yeah, it was just never going to stick. How much money would I recommend starting off to build my bank? I assume bankroll in your initial deposit for a moderate daily player. Man, I mean, like, what are your goals? Are your goals to win the Millie Maker? You're going to need a lot of money. Are your goals to grind it up? Like, how much are you comfortable depositing? There are so many questions where it depends as much as you're comfortable investing, and it depends on your skill level also. Let's see. What's it? Do touts hold back inside info on shows? I don't know anybody who does. People say that stuff like we're sitting around with our crystal ball and we're saying, oh, no, crystal ball. We can't tell the people that. Like, come on, we're sports fans. Like, we just put in the work. We don't hold back info. Like, that would be awful. That would be so absurd to actually do. Did the Broncos really just get a too many men on the field penalty? Did that actually just happen? Oh, Jesus. Vance Joseph is having the time of his life, except for tonight. Oh, Sergio Dip, you're my hero. Did you make more money in DFS than poker? Yeah, winning the Millie Maker will do that. Poker was good for me for a number of years, though. Toward the end, like the tournaments, I was playing too many tournaments. And once I kind of focused on cash games, I was doing well. I was doing like 100, 125 an hour, so that was good. Doug Polkthoughts, he's done a hell of a job of marketing himself because I didn't know who he was 3 years ago, and now he's everywhere. Yeah, there's still 12 minutes left. Wow, this just went the whole third quarter. Vance Joseph not having the time of his life. The mind-blowing part of no, the Hugh Jackson should have been fired at halftime. Like, I don't care if you hire him, you bring down the freaking owner. If you bring back, I don't know, who's a crappy Browns coach in history? There are so many of them. If Gary Kubiak comes back and coaches, like, bring back Bill Belichick. He used to coach for the Browns. Would I ever hang out Siege outside of work? Yeah, we have hung out outside of work. I love Siege. Like, we've been to hit up that Blues game together, where I got the famous kiss cam picture. Siege tells that he saw it in slow motion as I raised my camera to take the photo as he's on the kiss cam going like this. It was great. I had a good time. No, I definitely hung out with Siege outside of work. By the way, underrated golfer, that CJ Kaltenbach. Too many men. Unbelievable. We need Sergio Dip on an RG show to tell us how happy you are in the morning when you get the windmill. Sergio Dip, man. It was great. Like, I had to pause it. Like, I saw it. I was in real time, and I paused. I'm like, there's no way I actually saw that. Rewind it, watch it again. I said, no, this must be a trick. Pinch yourself a few times. Rewind it. No, it's a real thing. Honey, come here. You gotta see this. And she actually just thought I was being mean. She didn't think it was that bad. Whatever. So it's really where I met my wife. We've known each other since grade school. She hated me back then. We didn't start dating until we were in our mid-20s, but no, I've known each other since grade school. Looks like those questions are starting to die. Let me open up the Twitter notifications. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. It was really informative, man. Great to listen to someone with so much experience in the industry. Things like this are how the industry helps smaller players grow. I value your opinion now. Man, I appreciate that. That's great. That's a good honesty. I'll value your opinion now, man. Like, before, it's just like, boy, before this asshole just showed up, and now, no. Oh, that's the guy. Got it. Yes, now that I can football. Yeah, keep writing. I would definitely check out the Runners Blogger program. Ask RG about that. It's really just some great information out there. Let's see. I should have said hello to the past summer at the World Series. I will next summer. I play lots of 08. Yeah, oh, nice, Amit. Yeah. God, I made a final table in a 10K last summer. How freaking crazy is that? Like, it was such like. It was in it's the 10K dealer's choice. Like, you want to talk about a tournament I had no business making a final table, and that was the one. I got ninth. I was actually like really disappointed that I got ninth. I played really bad at the final table. But yeah, I mean, if you're an 08 guy, you and I used to play a lot together because I used to play every 08 game. Like, back when I was 21, I was playing a lot of like 1K, 2K 08. Not anymore. Like I said, ooh. Don't die any. Oh, good. Every time Danny Amendola gets hit, I'm afraid he's going to die. Yeah, no, I used to play a lot of 08, and like I said, games got harder. But back in God, how old was I? I was 21. So that was like 2005, 2006. Boy, games were good. How hard to beat our taxes? It's a fair point. I mean, I've beat him so far. We'll see about this year. Let's hear that. Do I play in NHL? I can't play NHL. And it's the sport I probably watch more than any. But I'm a super diehard St. Louis Blues fan. I can put my Blues hat on right now. I got my Cardinals shirt on. I can't play NHL because I'm completely 100% biased whenever I play it. I've tried to do it. I just roster Blues players every time. So I just had to quit because the Blues usually are going to win 10-0, and that's what I need to happen if I'm going to profit. Are Dean really BFFs? No, we're not really BFFs, but we do talk. We are friends. I love it. Sorry, it was actually earlier in the show I said I was reading something from an RG chat. It was something that Dean said. It was funny. Guys, I think that's – oh, wait. I played a lot of PLA with Scott. Oh, he taught me a lot, and that's my boy and best friend in the poker world. Tell Scott I said hi. I've known Scott. I have known Scott since we were both 21. We're not close or anything. But no, I met Scott Clements. Who scored that touchdown? Which guy was that? James White. Wow, just all the Patriots running backs tonight. I'll tell you what, everybody wanted to know what the answer was at running back tonight after Christian McCaffrey. The answer was none of the above. It was Deion Lewis, it was Rex Burkhead, and James White. There's somebody out there who somehow played all three of the running backs, played the two wide receivers for Denver. It's going to win all the money. So bravo, guys, if you did that. That's guys, there are some roster constructions out there that can be contrarian that nobody does it. No, I met Scott Clements in San Diego. No, it was in Lake Tahoe. It was my first ever poker trip right after I turned 21. It was like the weekend I turned 21 or like a week later. And Scott had just won 2 World Series circuit rings up there. And I met him up there. Great guy. I've always really gotten along well with Scott. Why is FanDuel not as popular with you guys? I don't know. I prefer NFL and DraftKings because I don't want to have to worry about a kicker. I prefer basketball and FanDuel because I'm better in that kind of format. What would I play if my bankroll was $100, $200? I would focus on the $1 or $3 3-max tournaments or the single entries. Anything bigger than that, you're just playing with fire, and it's not going to be sustainable unless you really hit early. Means you're a big T. Who would win in a game of one-on-one basketball match? I will let you know in about 6 days because apparently that is actually happening on Saturday. We're going to go golfing Saturday evening, I think, but Saturday afternoon, if any of you RG people are watching, I don't care who, we're actually shooting some hoops. I'll be the short, fat kid out there who can't play, but God dang it, we're going to do it. So, yeah. If you play 3 Pats running backs, congrats. Yeah, no kidding. Brady and 3 Pats running backs. Oh, golly. Unbelievable. Oh boy, we need more Crane Big T Hoops pods. Best show hands down, especially for NBA. Hey, it's tough to get the hoopster on the line. He's a busy boy. He's a busy boy. What do I think of everyone being multi-position eligible and it'd be on DK now? Wasn't this when he started last year? Yeah, no, it wasn't at all. I think positions don't really matter on DraftKings. We've come to that point, and that's fine. There are some the only position that actually matters are the strict centers. That's the only difference right now between fantasy draft and DK is that fantasy draft they have the 4 utility spot or 2, whatever it is, where you can play 4 or 5 centers if you want. DK you can't do that, but it's you don't worry about position on DraftKings. You find the best point per dollar guys, and then you just move on. And if you're creative enough, you'll find a way to make them fit. So it's fine. I don't, other than the sites taking away games, which just kind of hurts everybody, or raising the break, which obviously hurts everybody. I try not to complain about game format change. People complain about, oh, well, now blocks are worth 3, steals are worth 3. I really like when people are complaining. Sorry, this freaking bobsled thing looks amazing. Are you guys watching this on the Broncos broadcast or on the national broadcast? These 2 chicks in the bobsled. That looks so much fun. I might die, but it looks a lot of fun. anyways, yeah, like while everybody else is complaining about changes, I try and use them to my advantage, and it usually only lasts a couple weeks before somebody's like, no, 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 no. Now everybody's figured it out, but I like to really focus. So, like, what does that mean with everybody being multi-position eligibility? I don't like it, but I'm not going to complain about it. It just is what it is. I got 3 running backs with no Sanders. Yeah, it's going to be tough to win without Manny Sanders. Cam and not Tom. I locked in Cam, so I'm with you there, buddy. Let's see. Did I tilt on NASCAR today too? No, I didn't play NASCAR today. Like, man, if NASCAR was just on Saturdays or just like an hour later on Sundays, I would do it. But I spend so much time prepping for NFL stuff, and NASCAR starts half an hour after NFL starts. So I just don't have, like, that half an hour isn't enough time for me to consume enough knowledge for NASCAR. Do I like the picking contests? Yeah, I like them. I just don't have time for them. Oh. Yeah, so that's sorry, I was reading a mean comment on Twitter. Yeah, I like them. I hope they keep doing, like, where there are like 6 or 7 guys available. Remember a few weeks ago they tried like 10 different tiers and there was 3 guys available at every tier. I don't like that as much, but I like the idea of like 6 or 7 people over 5 or 6 tiers being available. I think that's a really good way to get the casual user in there, and that's what we need to be focusing on as an injury or stat corrections. NBA is my favorite sport, and they're no fun. Look, I understand that whoever DK's stat provider is, like, they either have to fire them or fix them because they can't keep doing this. Like, people are, you want to talk about messing with people's emotions. Imagine you're saying, like, oh, you're currently winning 100,000. Somebody, I think it was Mike Leon was doing that, currently winning 100,000, then like a stat correction knocked in like $5,000 or something. It's just something just heartbreaking, dude. Just like completely heartbreaking. And I feel for anybody who that happens to. Luckily, it hasn't happened to me. Like, all the stat corrections for me have been, you're losing money, now you're losing more. And that's kind of whatever. But it's like, I feel bad for all the people who, that's cruel, like, you gotta be better than that, DraftKings. Come on, you're supposed to be the industry leader. Like, fix that. Thoughts on Chris Rayburn? Very sharp. He wrote, I'm trying to remember, what's the article? Let me see if I still got it in my bookmarks. There was an article of his that I have bookmarked. Where was it? Oh man, it's an old one, but it's like, it still holds. Where is it? Anyways, he was like one of the first guys that I really enjoyed reading. And now obviously he does that show with Chris Jimino, who's another guy who's just like really smart. Chris Jimino, man, that guy, I hope you guys appreciate how hard he works, because that guy works his ass off every freaking day for RG. Oh, wow. So apparently somebody on Twitter says, good show from the Tip Sharp Football Stats. Did you hear about Kaiser possible audible on goal line, and Hugh took the blame? Well, good for Hugh, but that's not going to help you when he's watching from his couch, because you just talk about just getting destroyed for something. If that was Kaiser's decision, one, Kaiser's like 7 years old. He shouldn't be allowed to audible out the line. Number 2, like, that's a terrible decision either way. Am I a Rams fan? I used to be, and then they moved to Los Angeles, and now screw them both. Screw Los Angeles and screw the Rams. Are there touts that who have heard of or that are close to going broke? You don't have to say names. No comment. How about that? How about that? No comment. Yeah. No comment to some people. Maybe. Oh, that's funny. God, I cannot believe this has gone this long. I had fully intended on this to go like maybe 20 minutes. Are we going on like an hour now? This is fun, guys. Any other questions? I'm going to shut it down if there are no more other questions. I have no. Hey, Ricky, you want to see my dog? What's my favorite part of DFS? This, honestly, like I like interacting with people. This is my favorite part of DFS, getting, the radio show, everything like that. My favorite part of playing, it's building the puzzle. There's a very common, connection for people who play DFS and really like to, most of us like puzzles and most of us like sports, and that's what it is. It's a big sports puzzle every single day, and that's what we all like. I would imagine it was funny. About 4 months ago, a bunch of DFS industry guys were talking about doing like a 30-man NBA 2K fantasy draft and like playing the season out. And all of us were like the same thing. We were just like, we've been training our whole lives for this. Because I know me personally, like I used to just fire up the PlayStation or the Xbox or whatever it was at the time. And just like, you do the fantasy draft and then you're like, okay, well now I'm going to draft teams and simulate 15 seasons or something like that. And it was just funny like that we had all had the exact same background. My favorite part of the research process, when it's not grinding down on me, which it is a little bit right now, but it's getting to find those little nuggets that you didn't know before. Because I think especially when, we're in week 10 now. And I think a lot of people, once we get to week 10, we're kind of like, okay, well, now we know what's going on. We know this team's going to second this. This is a good spot to attack. This is a good cornerback who's gotten worse, who's gotten better, so we don't attack this. Look at that blitz off the end. Osweiler, man. Like, you just give that guy a little bit of pressure, he pukes on himself. But no, my favorite part of the process is finding something new later in the season, because then you're just like, nah, I can do this. Last season, I'll tell you what, here's a good example. Last season, right around this time, I realized that once Tyrann Mathieu went out, that the deep threat number 2 wide receivers, guys like Deshaun Jackson, like Brandon Cooks, or a couple other ones, that they were just really killing the Arizona Cardinals when Marcus Cooper, because he wasn't fast enough. And that was something that people hadn't picked up on yet. So one week, it was a couple weeks, and there goes the Pats. Wow, Pats defense, wow. He scored, it was about to be a must. But like once I realized that like Drew Brees was going to New Orleans. Now Drew Brees, I can look up, okay, how often is he throwing deep? How good is he at throwing deep? Who's he throwing deep to? Then I can see that Drew Brees, well, he's throwing deep. Patrick Peterson, he's going to be shadowing Michael Thomas. All of a sudden, my whole Sunday was, okay, I'm going to do 100 Brees to Cooks teams. And I had both of them at like 2 or 3%. So like finding those little nuggets late in the season when everybody thinks that they know everything, that's like a super that's a super rewarding thing, I think. Like I really enjoy that. Do I think FanDuel should be full PPR like DraftKings? I don't care. They can do what they want. Different is good. This is fantastic. Thanks. What's my do more of these? Okay. Who are the biggest grinders out of the RG Pro group? We all give him a lot of crap, but like Brett Devine actually like grinds his balls off. Like you talk about somebody who like really focuses on finding every single edge he possibly can. He's one of them. It's really respectful, and I wish I knew as much as he did about just like the ways to the different ways to profit, because he's got a lot of like little tricks of the trade that he drops in hints, in our chat every now and then. I'm like, oh yeah, that's really good. Do I end up late swapping a lot? No, I don't. Like for this late slate, I might end up, because I'll want to make sure the goal is to win. Like, goal is never second place because of how top heavy these are. So I want to make sure I'm not blocking myself. Like if I've got a team comes up tomorrow with Cam, McCaffrey, and Dixon, or the only guys left, then I got a team 5 points behind Cam, McCaffrey, Dixon. Well, then I'm going to go obviously swatch. Like that's where I would move Dixon to a guy like Curtis Samuel or something, or even a guy like Russell Shepard. Where like nobody's going to be on, but there's no point. There is no point at all in holding on to that second team, because it's so top heavy that it makes no sense. It's so top heavy, you have to go for it if you have a shot. Am I friends with Scott Blumstein? No, we have some mutual friends, and we look alike, but no. Where's my microwave? It's in the kitchen. I'm not in the hotel this week. Yeah, Blumstein plays a lot of DFS. Like I said, we have mutual friends, but yeah, MVP of the NFL so far. And it's got to be Carson Wentz. Like I was so wrong on him. I thought he was kind of just another guy. Everybody was talking about how good he was last year. I'm like, I just don't think he's that special. And he's just smashing. So I'll tell you what, I think after seeing what the Packers are doing, and I know they won today, but I think Aaron Rodgers should just be the MVP every year. How player play 20 max, tiny. You don't want to you can't cover every base with 150 lines. You can't come close. Sure as hell can't do it with 20. So I have a very tiny player pool. Crane, I'm lost, was on fire only this season. Now I'm ass kid. That sucks. Crane, what are your thoughts on playing chalk wide receiver? Aren't they supposed to be the most volatile position? Wasn't that the case today? Unfortunately, no. Defense is the most volatile position. They're not wide receiver. They are a little. They are higher variance, but like the upper end guys are definitely not supposed to be high variance. This was a really odd slate where like Julio didn't do a ton. I mean, he did fine, but he didn't do a ton. AJ Green got there obviously, and he was my highest on wide receiver. Antonio Brown was my second highest on wide receiver, and shit happens sometimes. But wow, I love the Patriots. By the way, 6 minutes left in the game. They're up 30 or 20, 25 points, and they're just like, hey, let's throw a deep shot to Brandon Cooks. Like it's such a Belichick Brady on prime time FU move, and I love it. And Mike, maybe you missed the beginning of this, but I don't particularly care if the guy's chalk or not. I just want the best plays. So you focus on that, like if you're doing your own research, then way to go. Like if you're doing your own research and ending up on some, I said 2 out of 9 ain't bad for 10 weeks, and somebody's like, well, 80% of the people got top 5 in the milli. I've had 9 coaching clients. 2 of them have gotten top 5 in the milli this year, and guys like, well, I wouldn't want those odds. So this guy wouldn't want a 2 and 9 shot for $200 to win $100,000. Not for that money. You're bad at math. Smiley face. See, when you give the smiley face, it doesn't seem as bitchy. Do you think collusion happened with 3 minutes? No, I don't. Look, the Gates brothers, like Papa Gates and Chipotle, like people aren't going to like what they do, and I get it, but I don't think they're cheating, and I think I was wrong to accuse them of that before, and I've told people that. Yeah, like I don't think they're cheating. I think they're just so much better than everybody else that they're trying to get every dollar they can. And that's a strategy I sure as hell wish I would have used in poker and when I was 21 because I got lazy with it. And these guys aren't going to get lazy. These guys are going to set themselves up and their families up for life. And I respect that because they're better than everybody else. Have you read any DFS books? Nope, but I'm writing one. I'm biased, but any better free agent signing than Case Keenum. He's played great, especially compared to the other backup QBs. Oh, God. I mean, was A.J. Boye a trade or was that a free agent signing? Because, let me see, A.J. Boye offseason. Let's look that up. Because A.J. Boye, let's see, I believe he signed. Didn't he come over? Didn't he? Yeah, he signed with Texans. I think A.J. Boye is a better signing than Case Keenum. He has made that Jaguars defense just positively impossible to beat. Who do you think will play in the Super Bowl this year? Philadelphia, New England? Is that too like chalky? I mean, look, Philly's the best team. Like they have a second-year quarterback. So, and look, the Falcons eventually they're supposed to figure it out, right? But that coaching staff, man, like, boy, you talk about just a downgrade. I forget the offensive coordinator. You guys know who it is. I can't remember his name right now. Yeah, that's what Dylan Taylor says, the Saints. I actually think the Saints are a super, super sneaky spot to get there. The problem is then you might end up with Drew Brees outdoors at the Link in Philly in December, which could get ugly, especially getting all that pressure from the Philly front four. But that Saints offense, like that, the team is built so perfectly to complement each other because you've got this offense that they can pass if they need to, but now this offense just wants to kill you on the ground. They just want to pound the bleep out of you on the ground, which, Sarkisian, that's what I was talking about. But yeah, so like what happens is the Saints, they get after these big leads, and then they've got this absolutely elite passing defense with Lattimore and Martin Crowley. And Crowley, like, he's untested still. And he was like, I'm still not sure I completely believe him, but from a scheme standpoint, they're good. Plus, that defensive line gets after the quarterback. So that makes the defensive backs look better just by proxy. So they put these teams in a situation where they can't run because they're too far behind, which is bad when you're against the Saints because, well, the Saints, their weakness is run defense, but teams can't run on them because the Saints are scoring too many damn points for it to matter. So I actually think the Saints are like a really sneaky team to actually, And let me say Goff isn't as good against really good defenses as he ends with bad ones. So just make sure I'm reading the analytics right. It would make him a contrarian play next weekend. Don't worry about contrarian. You guys here, just forget about trying to be contrarian. Just find the best plays. The guy says, okay. He says, LOL, sure. Oh man. Woo, buddy. Oh man. The guy on Twitter, you like the Twitter trolls? Yeah. Ouch, guys. Ouch. I don't want those odds. 200 for a 2-9 shot. And that's not what it is, but he brought up odds. It's just like, wow. Guys, if you ever want to know why gambling games, poker, DFS, whatever, are always going to be profitable, just read Twitter for 5 minutes and you'll figure it out. Jimmy Garoppolo going to make San Fran decent. Who the hell knows what Garoppolo is now? Like, I can't pretend to know that. He's played some we'll see what happens. Like, I think it's a little bit of a red flag that they couldn't get more than a second-round pick. Like, Sam Bradford went for a lot more than Jimmy Garoppolo did, which is weird to me. But, yeah, we'll have to see. Mookie Betts bowled a perfect game in the World Series bowling. Seriously? God, that guy just does everything. Like, he's happy. He's the best outfielder in baseball. Hits for average, hits for power, steals bases, gets RBIs, and he can bowl. Man, I'm jealous. Yeah, Siege been loving the date Saints D since the beginning. Siege is a sharp guy. What's your favorite number of games for an NBA slate? I would say 6. Al Smith was mentioned LMAO. Yeah, people think that Smith's life, man, he deals with a lot of trolls. Like, I deal with a lot of trolls. He deals with a lot of trolls. Week 7 going to be Travis Kelce Chocolate. Great, because that hasn't destroyed us all before. Just that you're hopeless. Good luck. Like, whatever. Gronk 2 versus Oakland. Oh my God. Do I listen to? I don't listen to a lot of DFS podcasts, and it's not. That might not be optimal, but I've always found that, like, if I listen to one, I'm going to listen to 20. And if I listen to 20, my mind kind of gets clogged, so I just don't listen. Maybe that's a mistake. Which weeks are the most profitable for NFL? Thanksgiving. That one's easy. Thanksgiving, that Thursday and that whole weekend where everybody's stuffed full of turkey. They're feeling good because the holidays are around the corner. Plus, they're a little bit desperate to win some Christmas money. Yeah, Thanksgiving. That one's easy. And week 1. But week 1, like, there's a ton of variance. Yeah, I love Thanksgiving. I love turkey, as they show the commercial for the turkey. Oh, hey, Ricky. Hey, come here. He might not actually come. He's, how long? Do you have a 200 IQ? Fuck no. God, I'd be surprised if I have a 20 IQ. Come here. You all right, old man? What's up, Bob? Come here. Yeah, I know. Really? You got to figure it out? Come here. Oh, let me pick you up. Oh, boy. All right, everybody say hi to Ricky. Say hi, buddy. Can you say hi? There we go. This is Ricky. This is our second rescue dog. He's our old man. He's probably about 14 years old. We got him about a year ago. He's a hell of a good dog, and he just kind of likes to chill in my chair over there. And, well, he watches sports with me. All right, buddy. He will, if I let him, he will sit right here for, I don't know, the next 8 days until he has to pee. Man, he's an old guy, so that's pretty, And he has no teeth, so when he plays with stuff, he doesn't, all right, see you later, pal. He doesn't actually chew it up. He just gums it all. It's really awkward to watch. If you were 21, what would you be doing right now, given that poker is a lot tougher? Hopefully this. I'd like to think that I could get into this. I'd like to think that I'd still be doing this. But, yeah, if I was 21 again, I would sure as hell would play poker 16 hours a day and set myself up for life. That's for sure. How long is my course? I do a weekly. I did a Roto Academy course that's still available, I think, on RotoGrinders or rotoacademy.com. Just about multi-entering and how I go about doing that. It's like really cheap. There's no way I should do something for that cheap. I also do a weekly package through RotoGrinders where I just kind of give my thoughts on the game site. It's a consulting package. I show up a few times throughout the week. I was going to do videos like this more often, but you know what? Oh my God, there's still just an FU mode with 4 minutes left. Guys, if you stack the Patriots, congrats. Wow, what the hell did he just do? Why did he just throw Brandon Cooks down like that? What did Brandon Cooks ever do to you besides bend you over the football field? What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Sorry. Oh, yeah, I would hope that I would still be doing DFS. Like if poker was still around like it was back then, like baby doll. What are my thoughts if I was playing for 400 a week in NFL, multi-enter into big GPPs, or maybe load up on single entries? No, I would do the 3 maxes there. I would make sure I was also doing short slates. Like you don't put it all on one slate. So you want to do some short slate stuff. 400 a week, you're looking at probably the 12 and under. At that point, you're probably getting like 100 per slate in there. Do the 3 max on the short slate, the afternoon slate, and the primetime slate. There's like a lot of value in that stuff that people kind of get lazy about focusing on. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would definitely. I really like the 3 max format, and I'm saying that as like I like it for everybody else. For me, I prefer the 150 max format because that's what I like to do. For everybody else, I think 3 max format is probably the best way to go. Hi, Ricky. Ricky, they said hi. He doesn't care. Still doesn't care. Let's see. Thoughts on deep fried turkey? Oh, I love fried turkey. Fried turkey is just the nuts, man. Like we get that fried dark meat turkey at our Christmas or at our Thanksgiving. It's just A+ there. Let's see. Even with Hoyer in. Oh, I don't. Oh yeah, even with Hoyer in, they're just. Oh, this is Hoyer throwing now. They're just in total FU mode. That's great. What is Cooks even doing now? He's got 12. Oh man, I might win this week in my season long. Let's see. I'm gonna need another. Looks like 5. No, looks like I'm gonna need another 5 points from Devontae Parker tomorrow night to win the season long this week. That's nice. That's $1,000. Is Dave Potts to go? Dave Potts is the best, man. Like I would, if I was ever. Oh, hold on. Got him. Got you good, you fucker. If I was ever on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and I had one person to call with any question, I can't think of a topic I wouldn't call Dave Potts about. Like, the guy is just the best. Like, I'll tell you, here's a story. Last year, I was supposed to meet up with him the night before the Roto-Grinders party. He was kind of hanging out downtown Nashville. And so I pass him. I'm like, hey, Dave, in the car. Never met in real life. And he goes, I got to go park my car. And he goes, oh, if you go down that way 2 blocks, you turn on, I forget the name of the street, you turn on Happy Street, then go about half a block up and take a left. That's the best parking garage. He didn't even drive down. I don't understand how he knows these things. Like it's unbelievable the kind of things that Dave Potts knows. 7 foot tall Dave Potts, by the way. You'd call Ken Jennings. That's fine. I'll take Dave Potts. You can have Ken Jennings, Point Crane. College favorite football team. That would be the University of Michigan. But I'm definitely not a diehard fan. And I'm probably a fair weather fan, if anything. I don't have time for college football. I don't play DFS. Like I watch football for a living. I don't have time just to. Well, I wish I did, but I just don't. So yeah, it would be Michigan, and Southern Illinois University, who is now I think 2-4. We're like 4-6. I don't know. We're bad. I know that. But SIU basketball just went up to Winthrop and kicked some butt. So go Salukis. Do I rewatch all the NFL games? No, not all of them. Some of them. I do the little 30-minute thing, but no, I don't rewatch all of them. You need 30 for 30 on Dave Potts. 30 minutes is not enough for Dave Potts. It's just not enough. I don't know if you're listening, Dave, but you might be. I love that Hoyer's just in there. Is Gronk still in there? Was Gronk still the highest scoring tight end on this slate, by the way? He very well might have been. I saw he had 9 points. I figure he caught another one for Tennessee. He's probably got 11. Did he end up scoring more than Dwayne Allen? Let's find out. We scroll up here. Scored 11.4 points. I think he's still the highest scoring tight end. I guess you can check DK Live and find out. Is Dave Potts a musician in the MLB offseason? No, but he teaches he teaches some camps. Like he'll go to like a music camp for kids and like seriously, the guy. If I could ever read a biography on somebody, it would be on Dave. 100%. It's not even close. No, he does some fantasy stuff. I know he was just in Arizona for some panels on fantasy baseball and stuff. And I don't think he's still a working musician. It's funny though. He and I found out one of his favorite places to go when he was a traveling musician was actually my hometown. He used to come to, it's Murfreesboro, Illinois, but he used to come perform in Carbondale, Illinois, which is college town where Southern Illinois University is. But he would go to Murfreesboro, Illinois, because we have this amazing barbecue place, and he used to sleep at his buddy's place in Murphy. So, like, we had no idea, but, I was in high school, and he was down the road next to close to 17th Street Barbecue, just, like, eating my favorite barbecue. I got to find out, because if Gronk is still the highest scoring tight end on this slate, that is exhibit A, why you need to just be playing like a guy like Gronk on these slates. Because their floor is – it's got to load still. Their floor is like super it's just so high that it's just really smart to do. Let's see. Tight end. Yep, Gronk's still more than Dwayne Allen. And definitely still more than A.J. Derby or Jeff Herman. That's hilarious. So, yeah, like – Gronk, he didn't score a ton of points, but guess what? You're still going to need him to win unless Ed Dixon crushes tomorrow, which in that case, I might be okay with that. Guys, yeah. All right, guys. Football's over. Brock Osweiler's sad. Actually, he might be happy. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine Brock actually expected to win this game. If you're Brock Osweiler, you're making what, like 15 mil? You're probably still happy. Look how happy Brian Hoyer is that he got to play. That is one happy Brian Hoyer right there. And Tom Brady's just like, who are you? Why are you still on this team? All right. It's been a lot of fun, guys. I cannot believe we just did this for an hour and a half or 2 hours, however long it was. I will see everybody later. Thanks for watching, everybody. Now I have to figure out how to close this. I got to find the window. There it is. All right. See you guys. Bye.